Hello there everybody, the Hat Person here, and welcome back to some more Senran Kagura Shinovi Versus. What you're watching right now is the extras version of the series. These are things that are not necessarily part of the main story, so I'm kind of putting them on the side as extra episodes. And besides, I've really been getting into the knack of making extras for the series that I have, because, you know, there are always a lot of tiny little things that maybe I wouldn't be able to cover if I just focused on, you know, let's just do the campaign, and as soon as I'm done, that's how it's gonna be. And I just realized that I don't have my sound on. Hold on just a goddamn minute. I'm gonna... There we go. There we go. I think you guys can hear it now. Yeah, the sound is back. Alright, cool. Good thing I noticed that early on. Could you imagine if I did like an hour of that and suddenly, oh, there's no sound. But anyway, it's only been a minute and a half, so it's fine. Anyway, I do want to confess one thing. I did the first two side stories for Asuka and Ikaruga, and I accidentally erased my footage. Like, everything was great, but I was kind of cleaning up my hard drive and getting rid of some stuff that I don't really need anymore, because most of my files are really heavy, and I really don't, I don't have the space for any of that, so I've been erasing a lot of things, and I accidentally erased the last bulk that I did for this extras for Senran Kagura. Luckily, it was only 2 characters and not the whole thing, so, yeah. Let's see, I don't know, should we go to the shop? Let's catch up. Let's see what we can do. Let's just quickly go to, the shop, see what we can buy after, beating the story, for the Hanzo Academy. Obviously, there are 3 more stories that we can go through, and I don't think there's more clothes aside from this, but sure, whatever. School uniform, jacket and spats. Oh, these are kind of average, not really anything out of the ordinary. Frilly uniform, I already have one, but that one's red. Uniform with sweater, winter uniform. Sure, I mean, I'm just kind of spitballing here, grabbing some stuff. Blue French maid, purple casino outfit, let's see, any... Oh yeah, yellow and blue armored bikini. Those are nice. Naughty apron, magical girl, kindergarten smock, Asher. Yeah, there are a lot of things that I don't have because I accidentally did some stuff with the save files and I kind of screwed up, so I had to reload from the saves that I had on my on my cloud save on PS Plus. So yeah, I'm kind of lacking in a few things, but it's not like we're going to be doing an overhaul in clothing or anything. I mean, we're just gonna go through a few missions and maybe check out the multiplayer in another episode. The multiplayer is pretty fun. It's very different from playing one-on-one in any kind of usual mission. It's actually quite different, and there are a bunch of different modes and stuff you can play online and shit, so it's pretty cool. I actually like it, and this is coming from a guy who doesn't play a lot of multiplayer. Anyway, we're gonna go in here, Shinobi Girl Hard. Yeah, as you can see there, I kind of beat some stuff already, but yeah, that's before I realized that I had accidentally erased my stuff. But, you know, all of these other ones are all, you know, gone. I mean, they're not, like, beaten in any way. I don't know if I'm gonna do Daidoji. I probably will, but I haven't, like, made the thumbnail for her yet. I have the thumbnail for everybody here. I would have to, like, do a brand new one just for Daidoji. Well, doesn't matter. That's fine. I don't know why I'm hitting the button so hard. And like, I want to feel it. I want to feel the button being pressed. Anyway, I think, we're gonna include all of these things. Oh, crap. Okay, yeah, there we go. So, I'm Asuka. And there we go. So, I'm level 42. Obviously, as you can tell, I've been playing this. And I've been leveling up. But, I think last time when yeah, so the last time when we played, when we beat the final boss, I was in around the 30s, and because I did the side story, I'm in my 40s now, so I don't know, it doesn't really matter, but still. Anyway, we have Asuka here wanting it big and thick. Oh, gee, I wonder what it could be. Probably a penis, huh? I mean, there's so many boobs and fan service here, so obviously he's talking about penis, right? There's no doubt about it, so I yell it out once more with confidence. Alright.
Asuka, お前の言う通りじゃ。太さこそ真理、大きさこそ正義。わしもそう思う。
Is that it? That's how he ends it? Like, his intonation didn't really sound like he was ending the sentence there. Okay. Grandpa nods at me. Ah, good twist. Alright. I'm trying to come up with ideas to help Grandpa's sushi restaurant. Oh, silly me. Here I am, thinking that it was about penises. Oh, what a funny little comedic misunderstanding. We want to create a big wave in the culinary world by improving his signature Funamaki roll. How about semen? Let's put semen on those rolls, because that's obviously what we're talking about, right? No? Oh, okay. If that's the case, it might be the best to ask around for ideas. If we pack everyone's favorite food into one roll, I'm sure it'd be awesome. Or it'd be gross. Because what if somebody like, oh man, I like, soy sauce on my futomaki roll, and then somebody else is like, well, I like cotton candy on it, and so it's cotton candy with soy sauce, and ugh, it would taste disgusting, like, a child might think, like, written in paper, that might be a great idea, It's like, oh, let's just fill it up with a bunch of good things, so then it'll be the best one ever, right? If that was the case, there wouldn't be any chefs. It would just be people fusing, like, a sandwich with everything, and there we go. You don't need any more food. It's just not logically sound. What do you call focus groups? Those things that those kids are doing. I don't know, I'm a pervert. How the hell am I gonna know about focus groups? You can focus my group. Grandpa gives his approval, and I hit the streets right then and there. Alright, there we go. So yeah, I mean, in the tutorial section of this game, when you are first introduced to these little modes, it tells you, oh, you're gonna explore the personality and inner workings of the character. And that's kind of a big fat lie, because, I played through these story segments, and again, in my 100% playthrough, I did, I played through all of these, but I skipped all the story bits. And there barely is any on none of these side stories. They're kind of disappointing, actually. They kind of upset me a little bit. I mean, of course, knowing this game, I shouldn't really be expecting too much. But still, if they see something like, oh, the inner workings of the character, it kind of makes you feel like, oh, we're gonna look into their personalities and their backstory and why they are the way they are and, that kind of stuff, right? But no, it's actually like these tiny, short-form little side stories that you get to see that, feature these characters specifically. So if we go for Asuka, oh, so there's gonna be like an Asuka side story that is focused only on her. And it's not like the main story where it kind of includes everybody. And so, you might be noticing that I'm kind of running around in circles here. So the reason for that is that whenever there's an interruption to the dialogue, then the dialogue actually resets. So if I do this, if I do that, and her clothes come off, well, if you had like the clothes tearing, then that would actually, there we go. That is happening right now. And so what Katsuragi is saying will restart and go all the way to the beginning. And now that she's transforming, now it'll reset again. So, it comes to the point where if you're very high level, you're gonna beat this battle in like a minute. Or actually less than a minute. It'll be like half a minute. Because these characters in these side stories are actually very weak. You'd think that they'd be stronger, but no. Or at least they would balance in relation to the level that you're on now. But no, like they stay in one level and their level is very low. So, you kind of need to stop and not get hit and not, you not hitting them back either, because then you can do something that'll interrupt the dialogue and you'll have to wait for it again, and it can get pretty annoying. And then you beat them so quickly that you don't even get to hear like the first sentence that comes out, when they barely start talking. Look at that, I'm completely annihilating her. I mean, I am level 42, but still, that is powerful, jeez. And there you go. Okay. Well, she's in her underwear. Come on, what the hell? Let's do it for all time's sake. Come on, don't even think about getting up. Wata! And you're dead. Man, I am relentless. So yeah, this really isn't anything special. I thought that it'd be something a little deeper. Oh my god, man, huge close-up. Okay, there we go. Sure, I mean, we already know the victory pose. We've seen it a million times. Let's just skip through that. So basically, it's let me teach you like the structure of it. It's one like very short story scene, and then we get 5 battles, and then we get another really short story scene, and there we go. Like it just ends, and that's it. Which is very, very disappointing. It's actually very disheartening because I see a lot of really good potential in these characters. I like them, and I want to see them in other situations and see. Kind of see what makes them tick, I want to see the gears turning in their head when they come across a new problem or a new thing that they have to solve or interacting with their characters and all that kind of stuff. Not really. It seems like the main story is more thorough about that than these actual side stories that focus exclusively on one character. So yeah, it's kind of idiotic. I mean, for me, it kind of looks like just an excuse to level yourself up. Like, oh, you beat the story, and you kind of just want to have this random series of battles where you can just level up your character until you reach the level cap, right? And so maybe that's why they did it, okay, let's just give you these random battles that you can just play for as long as you want, and you can just keep redoing them. But the problem is that everybody's really weak, for like the exception of maybe like the last battle, and even then that one is very easy. And so, yeah, I really don't understand the purpose of this. And I mean, and it says in the tutorial, the inner workings of the character to show a more in-depth look. I really disagree. And it's not even like Asuka's problem that she has to solve. It's like her freaking grandpa's problem. And like, oh, we need a new item for the menu, for the food, so that people keep coming. And that's it. Like, that's the story. That's the dilemma that we have to overcome here. And apparently we can solve that by massive genocide, by just killing all of these people right here. She said, I'm gonna hit the streets and ask around for ideas. And it's like, oh wait, suddenly ninjas, let's go and kick their asses. And someday, somehow, within all of this fighting, I will eventually find the solution to my problems. So yeah, don't think of this as anything special. This is literally just a tiny little side story, just for laughs, just kind of like a parody of their own character, you know? Because, you know, you already, this is what usually happens in animes, you know? Even in, like, the most serious animes, even if they have a lot of dark themes, especially like Senran Kagura. Senran Kagura has a lot of death and a lot of sadness, you know? It's like, oh, you know, my family died, but, you know, thanks to my friends, I can smile again, you know? That kind of melodramatic shit, but, you know, even then, like, all of these characters have these particular quirks that the side stories specifically keep exposing, you know? Not exposing, but exploiting. That's what I wanted to say, you know? For example, like, Hibari really likes sweets, right? So the entire side story is based upon, oh, sweets, and I like sweets, and, like, that is her entire personality, just based on sweets. Which is kind of a waste in my opinion. And like here, you know, Asuka's favorite food is Futomaki rolls. So obviously, she's gonna be like, in this side story, she's like completely entranced by them. And she's like, no, I want them big and thick, and I'm totally not talking about penises here. You know, that kind of thing. And then with Ikaraga, she's like very reserved and stuff. So she's like, oh, you know, I need to educate people. And like, that's her entire hang-up, and that's the entirety of her character. And there's really nothing beyond that. When, you know, in the main story, there definitely was a lot more beyond that. You know, everybody had, like, their problems and, you know, their times of laughter, but their times of seriousness as well. And here, they're literally just poking fun at all of the characters for, like, the one tiny little quirk, you know? They grab their one joke, and they just completely drag it on, and they run it into the ground until it's like, okay, we get it. Asuka likes Futomaki rolls. Okay, we get it. Katsuragi likes to grope other girls' breasts. We understand. Please, get onto something else. Be more creative. That's my big hang-up in playing these two ones, you know? Because I only played Asuka and Ikaraga, but I can already tell, like, this very obvious pattern that you can see, you know? Just by playing the first one, you already know how the rest is going to, transpire, basically. Do I want to save? Yeah, sure, let's save. There's all just going to be one episode. Like, the entire Asuka thing is just going to be one go. And then the next episode will be Karaga, then the next one Katsuragi, then Yagi, then Hibari. And I think we're done for the extras for now. Obviously, when I finish the story mode for Gessen, I'm going to do another set of extras, which is going to be, like, the Gessen side stories. Which I'm assuming is going to be exactly the same as this. You know, these kind of, like, stupid, jokey, kind of boss rush mode kind of thing. So yeah, it's kind of disappointing. They really should have worded it differently, you know? They should have said, oh, you know, like a gag reel for the characters, rather than saying, you can take a deeper look into their personalities and inner workings. Like, that looks like I'm going to be seeing some deep shit. And here, I'm literally just... Now, this is the fan service. You thought that the normal game was fan service? No, this is fan service. Just getting the one recurring joke for a character and just milking it to the goddamn ground until you're completely and utterly tired of it. Hey, did you know that Yagyu really likes Hibari? Well, hey, we're about to show it to you in this scene where she completely exaggerates because they just mentioned her name. And oh, Hibari was doing something with someone else, so obviously she gets pissed and now she has to kick my ass for some reason. But yeah, snacks? Yeah, we're like talking about snacks and shit. This is kind of predictable, you know? This is kind of idiotic. But people like it. So, the Japanese have really been, they really do take that mentality of, hey, if there's a thing that people like, then we're just gonna keep doing it. You know, like, why do something different if we're okay with what we got now? Obviously, there are a lot of people that deviate and do try something new. But, you know, in terms of, like, the big... You know, like, the big successful companies or series, it's always like, let's just keep everything the same because that's what people like, right? You know? That kind of thing. And so, again, I'm just kind of like running in a circle, just waiting for the dialogue to end, because if I kill Yagyu too early, I'm gonna miss the entire dialogue thing. And if I do anything to interrupt the dialogue, then it'll just reset into, like, the last sentence that was pronounced. Yeah, eat it with me? yeah, just exaggerating like the one character trait that is kind of funny instead of, you know, focusing on their actual real personalities. It's like they're, again, you know, I've said this a million times. It's almost like they were trying to make two different games. Like they were trying to make like an actual legitimate ninja game with a valid story. But then they tried to make another game where it's like, oh, let's try to make everything super sexy and, you know, like fan servicey and like super like cutesy and adorable for like all of the guys to love. And so they kind of fused both of them. You know, the main story is like the one that has a lot of death and a lot of determination and, oh, you know, I'm not gonna lose, blah, 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 you know, that kind of stuff. And then, like, the side story is the second game, you know, the one where all of the characters have really shallow personalities. They only have, like, the one recurring joke, and that's the entire thing that defines them. You know, like, that kind of thing is really disappointing. I'd very much rather just play through the story again, you know, rather than just doing this. It's not even a fun diversion. Well, I mean, it is technically a fun diversion because this just lets you play the game in this kind of constant series of battles, which is what I like. I've always preferred the gameplay. But, instead of, like, those super long, dialogue cutscenes. But still, you know, if you're gonna say you're gonna do something, do it right. Don't just make a joke and then just drag it out. And then just make a mockery out of all of the other characters. I don't think that's cool. This is very, very uncool. If I had, like, shades on and a leather jacket, I'd be like, bro, that's not cool, yo. I mixed bro and yo there, all in one sentence. That's how hip I am. I'm a hip 20-year-old. Yeah. But anyway, I mean, that's basically my thoughts on it. I mean, I think from here on out, the rest of the extra episodes are just going to be me kind of casually maybe talking about other stuff or just, you know, talking about the thing that I'm doing right now, because, you know, that's basically all I have to say about this particular mode. It's very disappointing with the lack of everything. Like, it feels very lazy, you know? That's a keyword here, laziness. They could have done so much more with this, but they just decided not to. They said, okay, well, let's make, like, this, kind of, you know, like, marathon of bosses, and, let's just kind of shove in some weird comedy story in there. And I'm sure that Estival Versus will have something similar. Hopefully it's a lot better than this, but, you know what I would like to see? A randomizer. You know, like, I want to have a button that is just random. And, you know, give me a random character in a random level with random enemies, and just let me fight. You know, and then I'll fight, like, a random boss in the end. And that'll be cool, because, you know, I enjoy just playing the game. I feel like it's really addictive to just choose a character and then just go with it. You know, just tear shit up all over the place. Give me more enemies, you know? I feel like, even though I feel like there's a lot of, there is a lot of enemies on the screen, I feel like they're not enough. I feel like I need more. I did see in the PS4 trailer for Estival Versus that there are way more enemies on the screen. And probably because of, you know, limitations and stuff with the Vita version, maybe they're slightly less. Maybe if this game came out on PS3, there probably would have been way more enemies on the screen for the hardware to handle and stuff. So who knows? I don't know. But unfortunately, I do not own a PS4. So I really hope that the differences between PS4 and Vita are not too big. I think the only main difference will be the kind of the touch controls, because you have the dressing room and you can, like, grope all of the girls and stuff. So I'm assuming that in the PS4 version you're gonna have, like, a cursor that looks like a hand, but then, like, you know, on the Vita you can just use your fingers, which I think is better. You know, that kind of stuff. I feel like there's gonna be, like, those minor differences, but aside from that, I don't think there's gonna be a lot difference. Maybe the graphics. I mean, I really wouldn't have a problem if the graphics were exactly the same as Shinovi Versus here. Because, I mean, the PS4 one looks fantastic. Like, it looks really, really good. And I'm like, are they really gonna make it look that good on Vita? Man, I don't know. I feel like they would have to make a lot of trade-offs if they were to pull that off. And, you know, if they do have to, like, sacrifice a little bit of the graphical fidelity, then I really would not mind at all if they just kept it the same as in Shinovi Versus, because I think it looks really good. And, you know, even though I think the Estival Versus looks great, I do have some problems with it. For some reason, all of the characters look whiter. You know, they kind of went with, like, the Supersonico type of art style, where nobody really looks fat, but they look wide, you know? Like, they look a little bit more heavy set than they should. Like, their thighs are, like, Chun-Li type thighs, and I don't know. they're not fat, but they don't look thin either, you know? It's weird. It's like when you're watching a video on 3:4 aspect ratio, and then you stretch it out into 16:9, you know? Like, you know that they're not fat, but you know that something's wrong, you know? Like, there's something weird, horizontally speaking, that kind of shit. You know, so that's why I'm like, did they, like, ask the Supersonical people to make the graphics for this game? Like, I don't know. Also, like, the faces, you know, like, the bodies, they have a weird thing happening horizontally, but then the faces have a weird thing happening vertically. I feel like the faces got stretched, like, from top to bottom, and now, like, the mouth looks very separated, and, like, the gap between the mouth and the eyes look a lot farther than usual. Like, you know, the way that it looks right now, in Shinovi Versus, I think it looks great. I think it looks perfect. I don't see why you need to change it. But then they change it in a certain way where, like, the eyes look a little bit more separated from each other. The mouth and the eyes, the gap between them look kind of weird. I mean, it looks, again, like, stretched out, but, like, the other way around. Instead of horizontally, now it's vertically. And so it really ends up in, like, the characters looking very creepy, you know? Like, I don't want to look at them in the eyes because, goddamn, like, there's something weird about them. But eventually you do get used to it, but still, it's like, you know, there's something is off. And I don't know what it is. Maybe because I saw, like, very early version trailers. Perhaps it'll work on that later, but I don't know. I mean, the game is out due on, like, March the 20th. Like, it's, like, right around the corner. At least in Japan. In Japan, it's gonna come out in March. They really haven't announced a release date for the American version, which I'm assuming is gonna be the same as the Japanese one, but with subtitles and, like, localization and stuff. I mean, the bigger bulk of the game being moved over to America is gonna be the story mode, because they gotta localize and they gotta translate everything, and, you know, the characters are very well known for being long-winded. Well, just the story mode in general is very long-winded, not actually the characters, but, yeah. Yeah, I think what's gonna take the bigger amount of time will be just translating everything, and it would have taken even longer, like even longer amount of time if they had to actually, like, dub it and get some actual American voice actresses and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm kind of glad that they keep it in Japanese. I really wouldn't like to see a dub. I know that there's already, like, a dub announced for Senran Kagura for, like, the anime, and it sounds okay, but you know. Again, I kind of prefer the Japanese one. That's how I was introduced to it at first, and so I can't. It's really difficult for me to budge from that when I see the Japanese one first. Anyway, so Hanzo was saying, "Yes, I did it. I finally got an erection without using Viagra. Yes, I'm back, baby. The king is back." Grandpa finally presents a new Fudomaki role. 5 of us from Hanzo National Academy and 5 members from Homeworks Crimson Squad sit down and try it out. 5 members from the squad, as in all of them. Okay, then the big wave. We're gonna go ahead and try that one out. Grandpa brings a sushi tub with the rolls. The smell of vinegar makes us smile. Okay. We grab the big wave Fudomaki rolls. We all bite the rolls at the same time. What? Why you gotta go like, yeah? Why like that? Jeez. I mean, if I thought Katsuragi was exaggerating. The next moment, whipped cream shoots out of the rolls and splatters all over the place. That is totally not an innuendo. Look at that. Of course. No, I really don't think. I think you're gonna go out of business, Hanzo. I mean, this is gonna be like the next big thing that's gonna make people running. They're gonna run towards your sushi shop because, hey, I want to try the Fudomaki rolls that make this horrendous mess whenever I bite them. That definitely does not look like a penis ejaculating. Covered with cream, we stare open-mouthed as he goes on belly laughing. Jesus Christ. Alright, and there we go, that's it. That's the end of the story. That's the end of the personality / inner workings of Asuka. She likes to eat stuff that makes cream come out. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty shameless, but it's not, you know, usually I don't mind it. Like, I actually, like, flat out ignore it. Like, to me, saying, like, there's sex in anime, like, saying that there's clouds in the sky, you know? But when it's like so badly executed and so like in your face, you know, like they're not even being clever about it, you know? There's like, oh, you know, this big cylindrical thing and they bite it and cream comes out and now they're all full of semen looking thing, but it's not semen, so yeah. I mean, it's kind of lazy, you know? It's like, oh, this is what you want, sure, we'll give you this. You know, and this kind of very lazy, kind of throwaway kind of thing. They're not clever about it or anything. It's a very typical comedy bit of like, oh, they're saying something that sounds like something else, and oh, it was all a misunderstanding. It wasn't talking actually about sucking people's dicks. She was talking about eating these big rolls, big and thick rolls that kind of look like dicks because you bite them and cream comes out. Now, for some reason, all of our faces and clothing are full of cream. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna skip the credits because these are exactly the same credits that we saw last time when we actually beat the game. So yeah, I mean, to say the least, this is fairly disappointing, but I'm gonna keep playing because, the huge majority of it is just fighting, and that's what I like. Okay, we're level 49, and, yeah, 50! There we go! We reached the level cap. That's, as far as we can go. Now, if we're gonna keep using Asuka, then we're gonna use it in order to, fill out all those bars that we have at the bottom. But, I think this is gonna be the last time we'll ever use her, because we're done. We're done with the story, we're done with, the extras bits. The only place that we're gonna see her now is, whenever the other characters from the other stories are fighting her. Which would usually be at the very end, because she's like the main character. Oh yeah, well that was good. At the very least we reached the level cap. Anyway, I think the next episode will be with Ikaruga, and we'll just see her story briefly, and, we'll just, you know, just to satiate your curiosity of what is everyone's side story, you know? And then it's gonna be just a bunch of fighting. So yeah, I really don't have anything else to say aside from that. I guess all of these coming extra episodes are going to be fairly dull because I already blew my load on my opinions on the Shinobi Girl Hearts mode. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed this episode, be sure to give it a like and of course subscribe to stay updated on everything that's been going on, so you never miss a single thing when it comes out. I'm the Hat Person, and you have just been watching Senran Kagura Shinovi vs. the Extras edition, and I'll see you guys next time with some more extra-y goodness. I don't know how to say it. Anyway, see you later, bye.